What's up, Knicks Nation? The Knicks get the bounce back win that they needed against the Chicago Bulls at home. A little bit of home cooking, a little bit of home sizzling. They got the job done. We'll also talk about Mitchell Robinson. He kind of tweaked his ankle, but even before that, his injury was a mystery. We'll get to the bottom to see if we can put 2 and 2 together on that. Also, Josh Hart, he proclaimed that he's sacrificing minutes. He wants to be there for his guys. And you see his hard work and sacrifice paying off. And as he helped the Knicks get that last win coming off the bench, the power rankings is back. Okay? And then, of course, we got comment of the week, word on the street, and much more on This Week Inside the Knicks. Welcome to the show. I am your host, Karan Pierre, the Objective fan, and I'm straight out of Kings County, New York City's finest, and you know the vibes, man. First off, I got to give a big time salute to those New York Knicks. They got the job done. They did their thing. So impressed with the win. Happy that they got the bounce back. Definitely, as you watch this video, subscribe. Hit the like button, 5 stars. You know, this podcast is everywhere. Anywhere you can get podcasts, you can find this podcast. But you know what? 2 weeks in a row, I got a very special guest. Let me get this brother on the show. Bam! Here we go. Hello, Ron. Welcome to the show. Still Knicks fans in the house.
What's going on, man? Thank you for having me. Always a pleasure to chop it up with my guy, Karan, the Objective Knicks fan. Appreciate
Let's go, man. Man, big time salute to still Knicks fans. Expect to see us do more work together. He's been busy grinding. I've been busy grinding. But, yo, you know we got to reconnect. The season just started. And, of course, those boys in orange and blue got a nice win. We'll get to that. But how you been? Let the people know how you doing. How you been? Just let us know. What's going on, Ron?
Man, listen, I'm feeling good. I'm feeling okay. Just living life, trying to be better each day. Happy to be here, happy to open up my eyes and enjoy the world again for another day. But I will say, I've been dealing with, my show on Saturdays is called Know the Ledge, and so I've been dealing with trying to talk Knicks fans off the ledge. And yesterday's show was a tough one, so I know the state of with current Knicks fan is rough right now. So it's definitely great that they got this victory tonight, man. They needed it. The fans needed it.
Big time, man. Definitely a great victory. And we're going to get to that. We're going to get to trust me. We're going to unpack the game. We'll probably even talk a little bit about the next game against the Wizards. Well, tonight's game against the Wizards. But we got a lot to talk about. So I'm going to start this show off right as we always do. We're going to go into research mode. Bam. If you are unfamiliar with the show, this show is also tied to a blog called thisweekinsidetheknicks.com. The URL is listed right below this the screen on the bottom. You go there, you click on the 2025-26 season, and you will be able to see exactly what we'll be talking about today. And so all you got to do, go to 2025-6 season, click on episode 2, and we'll get it in. So, of course, we'll be covering all the topics between October the 28th to November the 2nd, okay? A lot of things that happened this week. Of course, the Knicks went 1-3. Thank God. It's not 0-3 because you fans would have literally, like Ron said, literally jumped off the ledge, man. But before we get to the games and all that good stuff, I do want to give a big time salute to Steve Novak. You know, he will be joining the MSG team, and he actually did his first game. So big time salute to him. This was the Chicago game, the dreaded Chicago Bull game. But as we always do, we always give a big time salute. And of course, he'll be replacing Jamal Crawford, who is somebody who I thought should have possibly got the job, but I think Jamal probably don't want it. He has a lot on his plate, and he's doing a great job. Working on the network he's working on now. But I think he's with NBC or he's with Prime. I can't remember which one. One of the two.
Doing NBC coverage.
NBC, right? Yeah. So yeah, he's doing his thing over there, and I'm pretty sure he has a lot on his plate. Also, I want to give a big time salute to Bob Costas. Honestly, that Knicks game against the Bucks was pretty exciting, and the first game on NBC. And I didn't even realize that was Bob Costas.
Yeah.
You know, I didn't make the connection until I read the article, and it's like, oh yeah, from back in the day. So you know, I thought that was some nostalgia watching the game. Hey, maybe you guys might think it was corny, but that was my childhood. When I used to hear that NBC song come on, I knew it was real. It was something going on. So
Yeah.
I was pretty excited, you know, for that. So yeah, I was digging that. And then also like how they showed the Knicks and the Bucks from back in the day, and how the Bucks broke their championship drought, and hopefully we do the same this year or within the coming years. But I thought that was cool. That's why I added to the special highlights. So yeah, we're gonna move forward, man, to the New York report. So basically, the New York report, if you're new to the pod, is just me talking about the other sports teams in New York. I mean, half of them are not doing nothing, like the Mets, the Yankees, the Liberty. They're all at home licking their wounds from not making it to the postseason or not doing much in the postseason. All right. But then we got the New York football teams, which is, I mean, oh my God, pretty much mediocre at best. The Jets, bye week. They finally won a game, so I could watch them now. Because I said that if they didn't win the game, I would, you know, so I'm waiting for the next game. I will watch them next week. Giants, disappointing today. I watched like the first half. I saw what was going to happen. I had to turn it off. But, you know, tough night in the office for the Giants, man. But it is what it is. The Rangers are fighting back. You know, they improved their record to 5-5-2. They had a 3-2 overtime win recently. So, you know, salute to the Rangers. Hopefully they could turn it around. Who else am I missing? Okay, I do. So all right, Ron, I got to ask you a question. Uh-oh. Am I foul? Because when I normally do the New York report, I don't bring in the Bills and I don't bring in the Nets.
No.
Am I? No. Okay. No, good. We good. Okay, we good. But I do got to give the Nets a salute here, only because they broke a record. One of their rookies, his name is Edgerman. His first 20 baskets of his career with threes, and that's a record. So, you know, hey, if that's something they want to celebrate,
you know, hey, you got,
hey, you know,
you gotta find your moments, man.
We give him that, you know. Oh man, sorry, hard times for a Net fan. Anyway, we'll just move beyond that.
And, you know, I do feel bad. A little bit of me feels bad sometimes, but look, quite frankly, if the Brooklyn Nets were a brand new spanking team that no one ever heard of, right out the gate, maybe we give them a little bit more love.
Right, exactly.
They do Jersey, man.
Yeah, and then them fake Brooklyn people who all of a sudden they're Nets fans. Give me a break, because when the Nets are down, you don't hear from them. I only know one real Net fan, and that's my boy Ill Will out of the Ville. But the rest of them, they're fair weather. They don't even talk about the Nets. Like they'll talk about every other team before they talk. That's how you know they're not real.
That's right.
So we so yeah, we'll just skip past them. Like it's funny too, Rod. My last Net reference on the call-up show, right? We were going through the next 7 games and saying, okay, which one will be a win? Mm-hmm. So the Nets came up and said, oh, that's a win. Let's not even talk about that. I just let's just move it along.
Tough times.
So yeah,
man. Tough
times, man. We was there, but we're not there no more. Anyway, so I want to introduce to you guys the 82 Nights, a basketball fan's companion, sports journal, and enhanced stat tracker. Let me tell you something. This is not just a stat tracker. This is not just a journal. This comes with 12 components, things like your own personal calendar so you can keep track of the important dates for your own franchise. You're also going to get the 82 game listen scores where you can keep track of every single score there is, every single record, series record, in-season tournament record. All the records will be there at your disposal in one glimpse so you can see what's going on and the full schedule for your team. Listen, all you have to do is go to thisweekinsidetheknicks.com right now to learn more how you're going to get access to the 82 Nights Club for 1 year, how you get access to the cheat code. All you have to do is go to This Week Inside the Knicks, when you get to the top of the page, you see this code here, the one night special, 15% off. I'm extending the sale just for you, just for this one time. Not only that, you will get half off expedited shipping. So what are we waiting for? Go place your order now.
Fact.
We're gonna move on to the first the Knicks story of the week. We're gonna talk about Josh Hart. First, a big time salute to Josh Hart. We'll get to the game, but you know, a hell of a performance. But recently, you know, he admitted that it still was a big time adjustment for him returning from his injury. And he's dealing with multiple. He got a finger, you know. Then he hurt himself again in Abu Dhabi. He's been dealing with a lot. So he said, I think honestly, just for me, it's more about trying to get my wind. Today was tough in terms of, and this was after the loss. I believe this was the last of the first loss they had, which was against the was that the Bucks? I think that was the Bucks.
Yeah.
So yeah, so he says it was tough in terms of energy.
No,
obviously being
Miami.
There you go. One of those teams that I can't stand anyway. So I'm trying to get his win. It was tough. It was a tough one in terms of energy and stuff like that. Obviously being down, Miles McBride hurt us. And that's a guy who can knock down shots, pick up the ball, push the pace. So on a day like this, when I don't have it, I'm still trying to get my legs in. So that was the comment then at the time because it wasn't looking right. And then the last Bulls game, he only had, 3 minutes, a couple of minutes. He didn't play that much minutes. I don't remember the exact amount. And then fast forward to tonight.
The Bulls game, he actually played 16 minutes, had 1 rebound.
1 rebound. Terrible game, right? Bingo. That's what but he didn't play in the second half. It was something to that. I don't remember, but it was something to like he didn't play later in the game. But nonetheless, it wasn't a good showing.
No, it was not. It was terrible.
Fast forward to today, you know, or yesterday, by the time you hear this, you know, he had an amazing game. So, you know, guys, this is what Ron talks about every Saturday on his show. We got to relax. These guys are jumping off the ledge. Oh my God, it's the end of the world. But yo, give it time. You know, clearly Mike Brown is someone who's willing to make adjustments. And I felt like in this game, bringing Josh Hart off the bench first, you know, it just shows that, hey, if I'm going to sacrifice coach, hey, maybe you might have to tweak what you're doing. You know, give me a shot to show that I could be that guy. And it just worked tonight. And so, you know, what do you think about Josh Hart sacrificing? And there was another quote where he talked about how he has to adjust the most out of anybody because he's coming off the bench and then he has to learn all the positions. What was your thought on Josh Hart sacrificing, having to adjust?
I mean, I think that, I said this the other day on my show. I feel like Josh Hart goes through a period of adjustment each season. We really got to see it last season, but I think he goes through it every season. To start the season, I think he comes into the year trying to figure out what his role is supposed to be for that team that given year and how he can best help the rest of the guys. And I think every year is different for him, at least with what's going on with the Knicks. Last year, he ran into the same problem. People forget Josh Hart started off the season terrible and he was lost and he looked lost. And we were all like, what's going on with Josh? And then he had to come out and start saying, I am lost. I do feel a certain way. I wouldn't mind going to the bench if that's what they feel it needs to help the team. And then he wound up, you know, understanding his role. The coach figured out best how to use him with everything they were trying to do with Cat and McCall and OG and all this stuff together. And then Josh started playing great and wound up having the best season of his career. So this year, to me, I'm not saying he's going to have the best season of his career, but I'm not surprised of what he did tonight and how he can get it going again. I think he just has to go. He goes through an adjustment period of just trying to figure out how he's supposed to fit in and what he can do to help the team. And sometimes it takes a little time before he gets it.
Right. Yeah. And time is always something that New Yorkers, we feel like we don't have enough of. So we don't want to hear that. We want the championship this year, you know. Even like to my 60 win people, I tell them, I say, hey, it's going to be some growing pains early. And I saw it in the preseason. I say, oh, we got to pump the brakes because, you know, they're going to have nights like the first Chicago Bulls game where it just is not clicking. It's like, what's going on? So, and then Mike Brown still tweaking with lineups. And I feel like people need to give him more time too, because the team was hurt in the preseason. So he didn't get this is the preseason for him because Hart didn't play. Mitch only played the first two games, right? A lot of the guys were in and out. I think Brunson and Bridges played the most preseason games out of everyone. So, they're still, taking their time to figure it out. But I'm glad Josh Hart had a great game. Hopefully this will quiet some of the Josh Hart people for a little while, maybe a day or two.
We can hope.
Or, yeah, we hope,
We can hope.
right? We hope. This is for Knicks fans in the hurry. So definitely, especially if you reach this part of the pod, hit that subscribe button, hit that like button, 5 stars, wherever you got to do on the platform you're listening to this pod to, do it at this point in time, all right? So I'm going to move on to Draymond Green. I was going to make this a smoke of the week, but my Discord server, they said, nah, don't do it. It's Draymond, but unfortunately, we have to talk about it. But I ain't going to lie. Losing 3 in a row did not help, this conversation.
Mm-hmm.
But at the same time, we got to understand where Draymond's coming from. Draymond Green says he doesn't buy the Knicks as contenders. He says they don't have what it takes. Now, here's my problem with Draymond, Ron. You are a player that's active. All the other players that have podcasts, they don't talk about anybody else. They talk about, they interview, right?
Mm-hmm.
But they don't say, oh, yeah, we talking about Miami or they just focus on where they are. And, he talks a lot. It hurts his credibility when you say things like this, but then you say the Warriors, yeah, we going to win the championship. And then y'all don't win the championship, right? And then I know he understands media. A lot of people, they don't like when I say this, but he does. To me, he's decent on the mic. He has presence. He's one of the better players at talking on the mic than others. But at the same time, while understanding the craft, he knows that he has to take a dump on the Knicks. Taking a dump on the Knicks is going to get him more clicks, right? And then also, maybe he doesn't like New York. Maybe he genuinely doesn't like the Knicks, right? Or maybe he doesn't like the Knicks players. We know about the situation with him and Towns. We discussed it before.
Mm-hmm.
So I don't feel like he's coming from a genuine place. I feel like a lot of it has to do with clicks, and a lot of it has to do with maybe some of his negative bias. What say you, Ron, on this?
Well, I agree with you. So here's my thing about Draymond. First off, the problem is when a person presents themselves in a certain manner, and yeah, I'm one of those that I agree. Like when you do certain things or say certain things in a way, it does affect your credibility, and it turns me off.
Right.
I don't want to listen to the other stuff that you have to say. When he was
Right.
talking, when I first found his podcast and he was talking basketball, I was like, you know what? He's pretty eloquent. He knows what he's talking about. He has the experience. He understands the game. He's a heady guy. He's very smart. So I was like, you know what? He does a pretty good job. I don't mind listening to him. Until I realized that there's this whole narrative that he has where he doesn't really he talks about whatever, right? But when it comes to teams, the only team he really focuses on and talks negative about is the Knicks. And I'm like, I don't know what that is. I don't know why that is. Like you said, maybe it's a thing with him and Towns, or maybe there's some other underlying thing with the Knicks. Maybe at some point when he was doing contract negotiation, his agent was shopping him to the Knicks and the Knicks didn't want him. I don't know.
Right.
But there's something there because
there's something there.
He targets the Knicks. Now,
100%.
Do I have a problem with him saying he doesn't believe that the Knicks are a championship contender? They haven't proven anything. They haven't done anything. They don't have a track record. If he would have stopped there, I could have said, well, I don't like it, but he's entitled to his opinion and he's not wrong. But he doesn't stop there. And that's where he loses the credibility because he has to say something else. Like almost like the Knicks have no chance. You don't know that.
Exactly.
You're not a Swami. You don't have a crystal ball in front of you.
Bingo.
So that's the thing and he does stuff like that and says things of that nature when he talks about the Knicks. And that's what turns me off on him. That's why I don't want to hear anything. And then even when the Knicks do well, he tries to dial it back a little bit and then starts trying to give them credit. But as soon as they do something, he tries to take all that credit away. So I'm like, nah, I can't mess with him. I can't.
Yeah, That's exactly, that's what I said. I don't think it's coming from a genuine place.
Right.
Sometimes people say, yo, do a smoke of the week on this. I don't really care if someone doesn't believe in the Knicks or doesn't think the Knicks are that good. That's not a smoke of the week. A smoke of the week is when you do like what Shaq does. When Shaq always picks against the Knicks, because he was last week's smoke of the week. He every single week. Listen, we played against the Nets on TNT. He picks the Nets. This is when the Nets are bad, right? Yeah, the Nets are going to win tonight. And that shows me that there's bias there. So,
Terrible.
That's when I'm going to come at you. But, if you have an opinion and you say you don't think that we're contenders, it's cool. But in Draymond's case, what makes this stand out a little bit more for me is the other things that we just said. So, sorry, y'all didn't want to hear about Draymond, but unfortunately, he's in the news. He's in the news. You know what else we could talk about before we move on? Mitchell Robinson, his the injury mystery. The other day they asked him, what was going on, with your injury, and he says that ain't telling you nothing. Okay. And then he said, Mitchell Robinson also followed up with his missed games were part of the plan, but he's unaware if it will be in place all season. So, I have some interesting things. I'll let you go first on this, Rob. When you first seen this, especially after seeing what almost happened tonight, what's your thoughts on that?
Well, first off, I don't know why they keep trying to interview Mitch, man. I know they love it. They love it because he's a soundbite waiting to happen. But
100%.
Mitch is Mitch, and he's going to say some wild stuff sometimes. So,
yes,
what it is. Just leave Mitch alone, yo.
Leave Mitch alone.
Free Mitch.
I agree. I agree.
But yeah, I don't look. I don't know what's going on with the whole strategy. The limited minutes for Mitch and I do think it's warranted because last year I thought that him playing 20 minutes, 25 minutes tops was smart.
Right.
I think you can get. I look at it like you just can maximize a person's ability in a lesser amount of time, and maybe you can also try to save them from excessive wear and tear and getting hurt. And so whatever's going on this season, I don't know what happened, what injury he tweaked in the off season, why things changed and shifted. But yeah, tonight's game, it's one of those things you start to worry about. And the other thing is like you start to worry because him not playing, and if he did have something that was bothering him, ailing him, he comes in and maybe he's supposedly healthy now, but he comes in and your first game back, he did pretty good the other day, and then now you get this situation where I wasn't even expecting him to play tonight. It's not like a back-to-back, like a day game.
Right.
But it's still one of those, like, I just thought he would rest the game. Like, he just came back, first regular season game. I just thought they would sit him today. And the fact that he did he tweaked something and had to step out of the game. I don't know how bad it is. Maybe it's just precautionary. They just want to, say, all right, that's enough for today. But we'll see, man. I don't know. I don't love it. I know Mitch probably doesn't want to hear about it and have to defend himself and talk about this stuff. Right. He knows the narrative that he's always hurt, and there's a lot of pressure on him to be healthy. But it's just it's tough. It's tough. I don't know what to say about this. I just know that I hope that the Knicks. I would say the Knicks should not. I don't think he's going to play tomorrow. Today, should I say?
Right.
He's not playing against.
No, for sure, 100%. So, even if that didn't happen, he wasn't playing.
Yeah.
So to add on to it, go ahead.
I don't know. I don't know how you feel about it, but I'm ready to listen.
Yeah. So a lot of you guys know, especially salute to all you guys that follow the channel. We've been having some interesting conversations about Mitchell Robinson, especially on the Call Up Show. Salute to Trevor. He knows, right? Even though I'm not on the most extreme, I'm not an anti-Mitch guy, right? I'm the objective fan. I love everybody. I support everybody. I call it down the middle. So if I see something off, I'm going to call it out. Mm-hmm. Don't think this because I'm targeting a guy. No, it's just doesn't look right to me. Now, I believe it was Riley or Allen can't remember who said it. They said that this is happening throughout the league. And I'm like, I can't think of another team that didn't play their guy, who didn't play a game yet in the regular season. He didn't get hurt. It wasn't like we seen what happened tonight, like in the preseason. Okay, he misses the first 5 games, right? But I've never seen the guy have no reported injuries, miss the first 5 games, and then you say it's load management. Usually, it's what we see tomorrow or tonight. You know, you play the night before. Next night, you're not going to play. Perfect, makes sense. Another thing too, you don't really see this level of stipulation for a guy who's not even a superstar. You know, like Joel Embiid, you see it. Yes, he's former MVP. We gotta at least get him to the playoffs because we know he could drop 50 on you, right? You know, Mitchell Robinson isn't that guy. While he is super effective while he's on the floor, the problem is, I mean, he 31 games, then 17 games. Before that, it was 59 games. And, you know, it's kind of a declining scale. Who knows with this injury tonight? Hopefully it's nothing, you know, but who knows with that, because it's the other ankle. Thank goodness it wasn't the you know, surgically repaired ankle. But this response and then what happened against the Bulls, it doesn't really sit right with me because, one, I don't really care whether or not you tell the media anything, but the fans, we have real questions because, you know, some of these guys want you to be traded. They want you up out of here. You know, they think that, you know, you're going to fall apart. And, you know, you got to tell us something. You know, it just can't be load management. Because if it was, to me, if it was just like load management, you probably wouldn't have played him in them preseason games, right? But now we in a regular season battle against the Cleveland Cavaliers. I think that would be the night to play him. You know, you dealing with Allen and Mobley, right? Then maybe the next night against Boston, they ain't really got nobody big inside. So, okay, he doesn't play that game. But to not play that game, and then, you know, it's just weird to me. We're not under any obligation to explain anything to the media because I got an unfiltered thought that I got to do, channel members, on an article I saw talking about Coach Tibbs and Mike Brown is crazy. And, you know, sometimes the media, they have these twisted agendas. So I get it. I get it. You know, I'm not the tell the media guy. I'm not like Stephen A. Smith. Oh, you should tell the media, Leon Rose, go out. I don't really care. I want to win the championship. So that's what it comes back to me. All right. Is it making us better? And are we going to win the championship? Mm-hmm. If it don't check those 2 boxes, I really don't care. But at the same time, Mitchell Robinson is valuable to us. So I'm hoping and praying that we don't get a report saying that Mitch is going to be out 2 weeks. Because we've seen this before. You know, he leaves the game, looks good. Next thing you know, he's out. We're like, damn. So that's what the mystery. And tonight in that game against the Bulls is like, it's a little scary to me. It's a little scary because you see his value when he can play. You know, whether you like him or hate him, there's a certain value there for Mitch when he can be on the floor. You know, I still don't like him and Towns together, but that's another topic. That's another topic. I don't want to. You know, this is for Knicks fans in a hurry. So, but yeah.
You know, best case scenario would be that something crazy like that you can't even fathom is going on, and Mitch was never hurt, but like, you know, maybe something was going on with his family and he's like, I got to be there for them. I'm sorry, I don't know what we can do. And Mike Brown is like, yeah, you know what? I'll use this time. We'll say it's load management, but I'll use this time to take a look at the other bigs on the team. This will be good, you know. That would be like best case scenario in the wildest way.
But why wouldn't you say personal reasons?
I don't know, because of the fact I don't know. I'm not saying that that's the case. That's my conspiracy theory.
No, I got you. No, it's valid. I'm just saying, like,
you know why? You know why I would think that maybe they wouldn't say personal reasons, because personal reasons usually only extends to like 2-3 days, something like that. And right. Mitch didn't play like the first 5 games, 4 games.
Yeah.
Which over a span, that's a little over a week. So
that's a little over,
and maybe that would have drawn some questions. Like they would have wanted to dig deeper. Just someone would do load management, and that's it. and then maybe
They
he
listen,
got an ailing injury or something.
listen, Ron. They reinvented what load management is because
It's crazy.
I've never seen a dude miss 4 games.
And you're not the only one to
Well,
say that. Everybody is shocked and feeling bamboozled by the fact that somebody's
right,
on load management to start a season.
right. That's wild. So, hopefully he's all right.
Yeah.
Right, and I don't want the Mitch Hive coming for me. You know, I don't want them coming for me, man. So, I think we'll move on. I'm gonna do the Knicks rundown. So the Knicks rundown is pretty. If you're new to the pod, the Knicks rundown is me breaking down, or just not breaking down, but just me, you know, recanting all of the headlines from the week. And then you could go to thisweekinsidetheknicks.com. All of these articles are there in case you missed it, right? So we didn't get a chance to talk about Carmelo Anthony and Phil Jackson, the blame game. You know, Phil has this new book and he's saying that Melo is the blame for the Knicks not, you know, having any success. I thought that was interesting. Didn't get a chance to touch on that, but yeah, definitely going on the website thisweekinsidetheknicks.com, and you go to the Knicks stories of the weeks and you will see it there. Some more things. Alex Len, who was an Exhibit 9 contract. Is it 9? I think 9 contract.
Mm-hmm.
He signed with Real Madrid. So, you know, salute to him. He got an opportunity to make a bag. Happy to see that. Jalen Brunson, we thought that he may have got hurt in the game, and he says the 2 words that made Knicks fans rejoice: "I'm fine." Thank goodness for that. What else we got? So Mitch Deuce and Yabo, of course, returned to the lineup. Ex-Knick Obi Toppin was sidelined for like 3-4 months to have surgery. Pacone Dadier, he exercised the option on his contract, so he will be a Knick for at least another year.
Mm-hmm.
And the great Carmelo Anthony says that he never allowed the championship, right, to pretty much be his motivation, or him not having a championship to make him pessimistic, rather. Because, you know, people say if you don't win that chip, then you're no good, essentially, or you're not that great because you didn't win, which is crazy to me. To be a great player, that's an individual honor. Some guys are lucky to get Phil Jackson and Shaq and or Scottie Pippen, and some guys are lucky to get those scenarios, right? Doesn't mean that they're more great or less great. It's just that's just how the ball bounces. Oh, and the last thing I want to talk about is Mikal Bridges. You know, he learns from his mom, and he's being a big brother, mentor to all of the young guys on the team. And, you know, he takes pride in taking this leadership position. All right, so that's all for the Knicks rundown. All of these articles can be found on the website This Week Inside the Knicks. All right, so we can move on now. Of course, we had 3 games this week. You know, we talked the Bucks and the Bulls. We talked about those games on the Knicks call-up show. Also, I write game reviews after each game, and I have this section called the 4 Notables. So if you ever want to see what my thoughts is on the game and you don't catch up post-game live call-up, or, you know, you don't see my short breaking down the game, you could go to This Week Inside the Knicks, and there will always be a game review there, and I will post it. So we won't get into the first Bulls games and nothing like that. What I do want to talk about, though, from that Bucks game is the Giannis. Unfortunately, I know some of you guys, y'all don't want to hear about Giannis, but guess what? We're going to talk about it because Giannis is a major deal. And salute to, matter of fact, salute to the Knicks Tape Madness, the Knicks Tape Madness Cup, the Fantasy Basketball League. I'm killing it right now. I destroyed Dusty. I probably beat him by like 600 points. And guess who's the star figure on my team? Giannis Antetokounmpo. I'm just saying, Giannis, if you want to come to New York, man, I got a nice spot for you on the Objective Fan Hoopers. But on a more serious note, you know, after we lost to the Bucks and we got, you know, pretty much torched by that kid, Ryan Rollins.
Mm-hmm.
By the way, I seen, because I watch a lot of basketball. I ain't going to lie. I pretty much watched every team in the Eastern Conference at least twice, except for the Brooklyn Nets. Yeah, there's no reason for me to watch them. I mean, what am I going to learn? But I'm sorry, Ron. I have to go there. You know, I know a lot of Net fans, and they be taking digs at me. Oh, you know you're not going to win the championship. Okay, well, no one's going to watch you. All right, so But so after after the Bucks game, right? Antetokounmpo, he addressed the trade rumors and he tried to play dumb. You know, he pleaded ignorance and to what was reported in his desire to join the Knicks. And he says this, I don't remember that. Right now, I'm here representing my team, and that's it. We beat the Knicks, so it doesn't matter. This is what Giannis Antetokounmpo said. I'm curious. I wish I could just have an alternate universe so I could look at it and see what would happen if the Bucks was 0-6. The Bucks was like 0-5. Would he have that same sentiment, or would the news be like Giannis is secretly asking for that trade to the Knicks? So, and then even in the game too, Ron, he had a moment where he was like, "This is my city." So all of the guys, and Knicks fans are funny, right? So all of the guys that are, we don't want to break up the team. We want to build. We don't want Giannis. They were rejoicing like, yes, Giannis is not coming to the Knicks. I'm like, okay. I mean, you know, what did Jay-Z say? He said, wait, I'm not black, I'm OJ. That was like one of them kind of moments. It's like, okay. I mean, it's like, it's your loss. I mean, Giannis 7 straight All-NBA first teams. He's killing it right now. If I had a chance to get him, I would get him. But my question to you, Ron, on this topic is, has that ship officially sailed?
Not yet, but I think it's close. I'll be honest. I think that Giannis was getting very frustrated with the Bucks management and what they were doing. He definitely was upset at the moves they made in the offseason or going into the offseason with the Dame Lillard stuff and the acquiring of Miles Turner and the way in which it all went down. But I think on the flip side, he's starting to see the players that he has on the team now and how they're playing. And he's realizing maybe they got a little something there that could allow them to be competitive. And as the year goes on, who knows what can happen? I'm saying it's still early. Not quite yet. It hasn't won him over yet. Right now, what Giannis is doing is because this is what I expected. And this, me personally, I don't care about Giannis Antetokounmpo. I'm just being honest. Do I want him on the Knicks? Yeah, of course. If the opportunity presents itself, I have no issue with revisiting it and seeing what we can do. But I am not going to lose any sleep about him and saying, "Damn it, man, we got to get Giannis now." I don't care. If it happens, it happens. But I would definitely not. I'm gonna pick up the phone or I'm gonna receive the phone call if they're calling.
Of course.
But the reason why I say that is because with guys like Giannis, guys like Dame Lillard, guys like a Steph Curry, those dudes is lifers. You know what I mean? Yeah, they may not be happy with the current state of their teams, but to get them to leave their team that they've been there and been the man there and be loved, like it's a different thing. It's a different thing when you've had success. And Giannis has actually won a championship. So it's a different thing when you've had that level of success and everybody, like we talk about the love you have in New York. And you imagine the love Giannis has in Milwaukee? I mean, Milwaukee don't got a lot going on. I mean, you know, it's a football town, really. Like, Giannis probably is beloved by everybody in Milwaukee. So it's not just it's so easy for these guys to just pick up and leave. So I knew that once the season started, all this talk is going to go away. I know Giannis was going to go back on his PC, you know, and I knew that he was going to lock in. Like, and because the other thing that you said it when he said, when the thing happened in the game, he was like, "This is my city." He also said, "I'm not leaving y'all." That's what he said. If you read his lips and other people have read his lips, that was the whole thing that he said. So yeah,
I didn't want to acknowledge that part, Ron. I didn't want to acknowledge that part.
Bad, sorry. my fault.
If I could quickly chime in on the Giannis deal, I'm gonna say this. So a lot of people, they, you know, the people that follow me, they're like, "Oh man, why you want Giannis, right?" I want somebody who wants me. That's one. So if he doesn't want to come to New York, then he could kick rocks. Let's just start there. The only way you can trade for a star player in this league, they have to want to come to you.
That's a fact.
Right? The Lakers deal with Luka. Oh, but look at Luka. He was traded. Come on, dude. You think that if Nico Harrison pulled Luka in the office and said, yeah, we got to trade you. He's like, I don't want to get traded. We're going to trade you to LA. You don't think he's going to be like, oh, wait, on second thought, because, it's all the stars hold weight in this league, period. That's why they got all his brothers there. Hello? They wouldn't have made no other team. We got real ball players in this league that can't make a team that's way better than his brothers. Trust me, I've seen them. But that just shows you that Milwaukee, they're pulling out all the stops. They got lucky with this Ryan Rollins kid. This kid is amazing. He is the real deal. Mm-hmm. The real deal. And he plays defense. Come on, dude. You don't normally find talent like that. So they're pulled out all the stops to keep him. They're playing well right now. I do think that Giannis is kind of finicky, though, and I do think Giannis would bail. That's the only thing I may disagree, Ron. Mm-hmm. I could see a world where he bails only because he won the championship there. Now, if he didn't win the championship there, he'd probably stay for life. But I think he's at a point now where he's chasing whatever legacy. I don't know how it looks exactly. I'm not sure if he's like trying to catch Shaq or there's another big man he's looking at. The same way, LeBron looks at Jordan, Kobe looks at Jordan. But he clearly wants to win championships. And if Milwaukee can't deliver that championship or bring him close again, I do think he will change his mind. Now, the question is, will the Knicks be at a point where we already got our championship, so we good? Like, we don't, we already won. So, I'm hoping that's the case. Right. I'm hoping that we can get to that point and where we could tell Giannis no, because that means that we're going to be super successful ourselves. But yeah, I don't want nobody who doesn't want me. So yeah, I think this may be the last time. I always say this. This may be the last time we talk about Giannis. Then the next time we see Giannis, they lose 6 games in a row. And now, there's rumors that Giannis wants to go. And then unfortunately, I got to talk about it. And guess what? I probably will talk about it. So let's just move on from Giannis, man. And I guess we could get into the game. Knicks get a nice big time win, bounce back win. This win to me was everything, Ron, because let me pull up the box score, but this win was everything to me because it showed who this Knicks team was. I felt like towards the end of the first Bulls game, they fought hard. In the end, they tried to come back. Right. And they cut it from 22 to 2. That to me was like, okay, this team has what it takes. It's just they're not ready yet. And unfortunately, and we've seen a little bit of this last year. It's like they got to get down before they fight back. It's like, come on, dude. It's like a boxer. He wants you to punch on him, hit me, and then I'm going to come back. It's like, dude, just knock him out, and I think that's what we saw tonight. We saw a Jalen Brunson that was incredible. And phenomenal. And he's doing it on less dribbles. He's scoring more on less dribbles. Mikal, they said he was averaging 1.5 points more on 2 less shots. So, the Mike Brown system is still developing, but you could see a lot of the benefits. Anything from this game that off the rip that you would like to share that caught your eye? A spectacular bounce back win.
Yeah, I think it was really I expected the Knicks to win this game, right? Because I feel like the Bulls, and I'm not saying the Bulls did it per se, but the way they played definitely forced the Knicks to dig down deep, right? Because this is the first game they've been really like in a situation where the Bulls played an incredible game. I went through the numbers on Saturday on the show, and when you look at everything that the Bulls did in that first game of this series, of this season series, the Bulls were damn near perfect. Damn near perfect. They shot incredible from the field, 50%. They shot incredible from 3, 45%. They out-rebounded the Knicks by a couple rebounds. They only had 7 turnovers in the game. They went to the free throw line 35 times. They had 30 assists, 31 assists, I think, in the game, something like that. Like,
Yep.
I was like,
I'll pull it
man,
up.
you can't draw it up better, bro. Like they were, it was a great game for them.
Facts.
Um, and yet the Knicks lost by 10. And then when I looked at the Knicks numbers, I was shocked and surprised at how good the Knicks played offensively. It was overlooked because of the turnovers, because there were some bad turnovers that the Knicks had at really inopportune times that messed up their
Yeah.
momentum, and created more momentum on the opposite side for the Bulls. And also the defense on the whole was just poor for most of the
Yeah.
game. Even the Knicks tried to come back and had certain stops at certain points, but they just dug so much of a hole. They got so far down that, it was too much. Conversely, so I said going into this game, I think if the Knicks can come out with the same offense and just lock in on the defense, they should be able to win.
Yeah.
And that's exactly what happened, because the Knicks came out tonight and they shot really good once again. This is their second best game of the season, percentage wise, as far as shots. And actually, you know what? I don't know. In totality, it might be their best, because in game one versus the Bulls, the Knicks shot 49.5%, basically 50%. They shot
Right.
40% from three. In tonight's game, the Knicks shot 45% from the field, so not as good as the 50 almost, but they shot
Right.
47% from three and 100%, 22 of 22 from the free throw line. I mean, that's
There you go.
incredible, man. And so you got to give them a lot of credit. They also had 31 assists and 47 rebounds. The last game, they had 39 rebounds. So
Yeah.
they just picked up everything, all their intensity, everything they needed to do to win the game. So I can't say enough about their effort and how they played. It was a really good game to watch.
Yeah, to double down on what you're saying, like I call it DRMD, dominating the rebounding matchup differential.
Uh-huh.
That was huge for us last year,
Yep.
right? I got my stats here. Salute to my 82 nice people. Journals on the way. We gonna get into that. But last year, when we talk about dominating the rebounding matchup, let me give you the exact numbers. The Knicks was 35-10. So very, very well, very good record. Anytime they dominated the glass, and I
Mhm.
think that will continue this year. Every game besides that last Bulls game, the first Bulls game, they've dominated the rebounding matchup this year. So as long as they can prevent the other team from, or out rebounding the other team, preventing the other team from mauling them on the glass.
Mhm.
I'm not looking at rankings right now. I don't really care about rankings because it's too early.
Mhm.
You're going to see teams in the top that they're clearly not going to be there. So I usually wait till we get to game 10. And then when I do the Knicks and 10 show, then we look at all the rankings and stuff like that. But I'm curious to see how dominant of just a rebounding team we are with Mitch. Hopefully he's there. But I'm curious to see if we can be actually, in the top 10 in just total rebounds. We were good last year in out rebounding the opponent. We were second in opponent rebounds, right? But can we, crash the glass and get more rebounds? Now you got Hart, you got Towns, and now Mitch. That's like a triple threat on the glass. So I'm curious to see how that will look. This game to me, the defense is what stood out. Offense was. This is why I was in the game in the first Bulls game. I was like, I wasn't too bummed out. I was bummed out, but I was like, yo, we had 4 20-point scorers.
Mhm.
If we just tweaked the defense, or if we just crashed the glass, forget if we would have just crashed it, kept them off the glass, got more rebounds, we probably could have won the game. And these guys are defending at a high level. Captain is defending. He playing the passing lane. He ain't just drawing charges. He really is taking the initiative on the defense. It was defense as a team, because in this league you can't stop. These guys are too good today. You got to defend these guys as a unit. And I felt like as a unit, fantastic. Even Towns looked like a rim protector. He had 2 blocks on the inside. Everybody played. Clarkson had a moment where he played defense. I'm not sure who got the Tims tonight. Did they give away the Tims?
I didn't
I'm
see
not
it.
sure who got.
I didn't see it.
Yeah, I didn't get it because we was doing the show. But I'm curious to know who got the Tims of the night. But this group had definitely shown me a lot. Mike Brown, and this will be the last point. Now I'll let you chime back in if you have something you want to add. Mike Brown, to me, making a decision because this is another thing I wrote about this in the game review. He's playing too many guys. I know Tibbs wasn't playing enough guys, but Mike Brown, you playing too many, right? It looks cool. I get it. You have guys coming in, flying around, but this is a new team, right? We got to know who comes in first, who comes in second, which starter, comes back in first. Like all of those things have to be worked out. We got to get into a rhythm. And tonight, I thought Mike Brown did a better job of playing less guys, right? Getting Hard in there first, right? Hard sacrificed. I'm not sure what, meetings they had, but clearly there was an adjustment. Hart came in first, and then I think Shaman came in. But, clearly, Josh Hart, we're going to give you the stage to show what you can do, right? We're going to give you the minutes. And then another thing, too, him playing guys in 3-minute spurt, pulling the dude out. Like it happened to Yabu tonight, but he never came back, so it was cool. Right? It was essentially a 9-man rotation. But, you playing guys in 3-minute spurts and then asking them to do something. And then a guy like Yabu who has to learn a whole new system and all positions because he plays the 5 and 1 through 4. And it's a lot to ask for him, and he doesn't really have the time to really hone his craft, and he's all over the place.
Right.
So today I felt like there was a lot more stability, especially Jordan Clarkson. Clearly, he needs to be in the game for a 7-8 minute stretch. You can't put him in for 3 and take him out, then put him back in for 3. He has to play a stretch.
Right.
And I think that also was the difference in the bench production tonight. But I'm not sure if you want to add to that.
No, I agree with you, and I will say that I think you just said something that's very important. I think Mike Brown and the coaching staff, that's something they would have noticed as well. It happened, but I hope that there's an attention to it about Clarkson playing for a spell, not just giving him minutes here and there and taking him out and not allowing him to create a rhythm. He has been struggling, a lot in just trying to find his shot. And it's because he's not in there long enough to create a rhythm. And when he is in there, not only is he taking bad shots because he's forcing his opportunities, like when he does get the ball, he's like, okay, well, it's moving around. There's a lot of people that are going to touch it. I got to do what I got to do now with it. And in the last game, for example, he got the ball twice when the shot clock was falling, going down, and he had to heat it up. So that's not fair to Jordan Clarkson. So I think tonight they did a much better job of using him, and as well as the whole bench itself. Tonight was also a night where guys were after a while, guys are going to start to get more comfortable. Landry Shamet is a streaky shooter. Tonight he was on. His threes. I mean, he was 3 for 3 from 3. He was knocking it down.
Yep.
So, and then you look at it too. In the first game versus the Bulls, the starters accounted for 104 points. And the Knicks scored 125. So it shows that the bench didn't really add much. In tonight's game, the adjustment period, you see what you did in that first game. Tonight's game, the starters added 82 points, and the bench chipped in 46 points.
46
so,
points.
There's definitely that's the type of thing we want to see, and we couldn't really get a lot of that last year. I can't even tell you, that's something to look into. How many times the bench even gave the Knicks 40 points last year? Probably not too many.
Not too many. They averaged like 17 points.
Yeah.
So, it wasn't too many. And then they said last year's high for the bench was 52. They had 48, and we still learning the system. We only in game 5, so I could imagine by game 45 what this bench will look like, especially with the consistency that we see tonight. In the minutes distribution.
Right.
But trying to think in this game, and then like Tyler Kolek, salute to him. I don't knock nobody. I want to see everybody succeed, but pulling him out the rotation worked out. You don't need all these 6'4" guards in the lineup. They had 5 6'4" players and under. You gotta come on, dude. Like, and they're kind of redundant. Like, you got Kolek and dude. Like, it's not like you got dudes that are that dramatically different, and they're bringing a lot more diversity to the offense. Yes, I know they say Kolek is more of a point guard, but Clarkson did all right to me facilitating tonight. You can do it, but in combination. Another thing too, Mikal Bridges. This will be one of my notables. Mikal Bridges looked, he shut me up. His facilitating, A1. I think he had, 9 assists?
He did.
He looked really good in the 2-guard spot tonight. I remember when Brunson, he kind of tweaked his quad area. He bumped knees into the quad and he was a little off. So Mikal had to facilitate. I thought that was the best thing because now Mikal got it going. And then Brunson eventually, once that, that wore off, he got it going too. But hey, if Mikal can sustain this, and another thing too, the Bulls are a real team.
Mm-hmm.
I watch every game they play.
Mm-hmm.
It's not an aberration.
Nope.
I see them do it against Philly. I seen them do it against, I think they played Washington as well. They were very dominant against everybody they played. It wasn't just us. So tonight's win is monumental because we did it against they were the best team in the East record-wise.
Mm-hmm.
And I think that they probably will finish in the top 5 if they can continue and sustain. So they will be there. So this is a good win against a good team. It's not a win against, that Brooklyn team. It's a real win, and the Cleveland win was a real win too. So, we can beat these teams. And honestly, and I was going to say this, but I give you a little hint. Because you got teams like Chicago and all these other guys, this is why I think we're the favorite to go to the finals. These guys have no playoff experience. That is going to matter. No matter how great you think the regular season looks, when you get into that playoffs, you got to have guys who've been there. And Chicago don't have that. Orlando don't have that. They don't got the experience that Detroit barely has it, right? So, that'll give us the edge against these teams. But great win tonight for the boys in orange and blue.
100%. I agree. I think you definitely nailed it. That's going to be, that experience is going to be the benefit for the Knicks. We just got to get through the season, man. However it shakes out. By the end of the season, we get into when it's real time to play. We're going to see. But this is going to be a fun ride, and the Knicks are just going to get better. These last 2 games are very indicative of the strides that the team is making. The first game gave you a snapshot of how good, how the offense can be. Right. And then this game gave you even a bigger look at how the offense can be, with a glimpse of when both sides play together, what the Knicks can do out there. Another thing I just wanted to point out with regards to the assist and Mikal's assist, team assist is something that I thought was really nice to see. This is what I think Mike Brown is really intending to have. The overall number is 31, which is, that's fantastic, but it's just, 4 assists from OG, 5 assists from Cat. You even got an assist from Mitch, but 9 assists from Mikal, 3 assists from Brunson, 3 from Hart, 3 from Deuce, like multiple guys getting assists, which means they're all moving the ball.
100%.
That's the key.
And to even add even further, I'm looking at my last year's stats. Salute to the 82 Nights Club. So last year, anytime the Knicks got 30 assists or more, we were 24-4.
Mm-hmm.
So if that ball moves like this on a nightly basis, this Knicks team is the most dangerous team in basketball. Yeah. I think even the Thunder will struggle if we can move the ball like this and get guys involved, because now, especially so here's the magic with Mike Brown's system too, right? And I get it. I get everything he's trying to do. I just feel like you still got to get some consistency with certain guys, because Mike Brown wants to move guys all over the place. It's just like Steve Kerr. It's a mirror image to what the Warriors do, except the fact that the Warriors have stability in Curry, Draymond Green. They got guys that been there, a part of their core foundation. Right, that we're a new team pretty much,
right?
Essentially, right, in a very new system now. But the beauty of it is that it's unpredictable, right? He's moving guys around because it's hard to prepare when Towns is a 5, but then he moves to the 4. He's in a whole different area. So now you might sub in a lineup that is designed to guard Towns this way, but now Towns is not there. He's here.
Mm-hmm.
Right? Oh, we're going to blitz Brunson 94 feet. And Deuce McBride go out there. Now he's running the point guard spot. Now Brunson is playing the 2. It throws off everything, and it can be so. It's a read and react offense, so there's no set plays. They're just playing off of each other. Okay, Mikel has it going. Okay, we just gonna get him the rock, and I get it. Listen, when they get the system down packed, trust me, it's going to be a sight to see. And I don't think it's going to take years. I think you're seeing a big step tonight. And I think that big step will continue as well. And also another thing that, and this will be, unless you want to add, Towns, when he was playing power forward, he was a corner boy. Games 1 and 2, and to the corner, not and, but to the corner.
Mm-hmm.
Now he's at the top of the key, even when Mitch is out there on the floor.
Mm-hmm.
The reason why that is important is because Towns is clearly comfortable there. He was not comfortable from the corners. They said that he shoots the least amount of threes from the corners. And it just looked doofy, him trying to dribble out of the corner to post up. It didn't make no sense. You know who else was playing like that? Houston. With Sengun. I'm like, yo, like, why is Sengun in the corner against Caruso? I saw the first game against OKC. And I'm like, he's so dominant. Get him in the mid post. They got Caruso on him. Just put him right there. He's going to draw a foul every time or a double team. And now we could rotate and get a shot. But, you know, that's the system. It is what it is. But now I love that Mike Brown moved Towns. Okay, we're going to keep you at the top or at least by the elbow or even, you know, on the box, you know, to try to create offense, just moving him around. That's another thing Mike Brown says he was going to do, moving him around, but now moving him around in where he's comfortable at, you know, not just in the corner, just because that's the position or that's one of the 4 positions. So that's another thing I want to add.
No,
you know? And I think Towns had, how many assists he had? Didn't he have like 4 or 5 assists?
5, yeah.
So yeah, he could do his thing. But go ahead, you can add.
No, I was just gonna say real quick, just because once again, the point of the offense, and I think that's something that as fans, Knick fans, we have to understand where that can make it a little trickier, and that's why it might take a little bit more time for them to get it down, because it is a read and react offense. There's not a lot of plays being run. If there was plays being run, then it probably wouldn't take as much time to understand and get comfortable. It still could take time, but it wouldn't take as much time because the play is going to get run. You just have to execute it correctly. You may not execute it the right way. And so the next time around, you got to execute it better and learn how to execute it better. But the play is there. You just got to know what to do. Read and react means you actually have to read what's going on and react to it. And that could take some time to get comfortable doing it, to understand what's happening on the court and what you should be doing, where guys should be moving, and then the flow. Because read and react it's a flow. It's obviously going to the hot hand, but also knowing where you got to go, moving your body, making sure you're spacing things out. Guys, like that takes a minute to get that down. So yeah, I agree.
Yeah. And that's why I know he wants to move guys all over the place. I get it. I see the vision is beautiful. But you got to start with them getting some chemistry now. So now we got to have the predictable lineup. Then we could get it to the point where, okay, we're not going to sub in Hart to start. We're going to sub in Deuce and throw off your whole game plan, right? Like, just to, like, okay, let's work our way to that. That's all I'm saying. I'm not trying to tell him what to do. I'm just looking at it from a fan that knows the game. I'm just saying, you know, let's take it one step at a time. But it's looking good.
It's definitely starting to look better each game, and that's the good thing about it. Each game is progressively looking better.
There you go.
Yeah,
and that's all we can ask for. So real quickly, this Wizards game. What are you looking forward to tonight? With this Wizards game, I'm gonna give you a brief synopsis of the Wizards because I pretty much watched like 4 of their. How many games they played? 4 of their 6 games, and I'm telling you right now, they're 1-5, but it's not a. It's not a like blowout. Well, huh?
You watched 4 Wizard games? You all right?
I did. Listen, they're not as bad as you think they are.
Oh, okay.
They had Philly beat. They was blowing them out. They was up by 20. Them boys came back. I think Maxey had like 40. It was a monster game. But I'm telling you right now, these kids, they have no fear in their heart. This kid, Keyshawn George, who we drafted and traded to the Wizards, he is a ball player. I'm not just saying that because he's on my fantasy team and we're kicking butt right now. I'm saying that because he is someone that might go off on you tonight. And this kid, Alex Sarr, these French kids, telling you right now, they all nice. He had 10 points on Joel Embiid in the first quarter. I said, whoa. And he was going at him. I'm talking about in the paint. Man to man, chest to chest, buckets. So, I think we're going to win, but it may not be a blowout. It may be a blowout, especially the way they look tonight. The Knicks, they look really good tonight, because the Bulls are for real. So if they could do that to the Bulls, they definitely could do that to the Wizards. And then they got the veterans there too. They got, of course, the brother from the Bucks that was with the Bucks, Middleton, and they got McCollum, who was with the Pelicans. And I think they got Sexton as well.
They got some solid players over there.
Yeah, and I think they got Sexton as well. But just to give you our preview as to what they expect tonight, hey, I'm just saying, I do expect to win. You expect to win?
I expect to win, yeah. And I actually, you know what? Right now, I could expect a couple wins, to be honest, because I think the Bulls were a really good team for the Knicks to play, and to play back to back, 2 times, to that pace, to get that speed of the game, because this is kind of where the Knicks got to live in order to get their system going the way it needs to be. Playing against a team like the Bulls kind of gets you where you need to be, and if they can just maintain that going into these other games, I think they'll be great.
Facts. I'm riding with you, man. I'm 100%, man. So we could move on. We'll briefly touch on the power rankings. Usually we cover the power rankings each year. We use ESPN. I ain't gonna lie, y'all. And this is what I was telling y'all. Old media, they want to see the Knicks do well. They trying to hold us up. They trying to propel us. We lost those 2 games in a row. We still was, I think, number 3 on the list or number 4 on the list. But losing that 3rd game, they going to get us. But right now, OKC number 1, Cleveland number 2, Golden State number 3. We were number 4. We will drop. I don't know how far we'll drop, but yeah, we definitely going to drop. But yeah, they got us at number 4. I thought that was fair. I mean, it is what it is, but they had us ranked high. I think we was number 2 coming into the season. So that's the ESPN power rankings. We'll keep an eye on that, and we'll see how far we'll drop next week. Unfortunately, we will drop. Let's do the comment of the week. I thought that this was a real interesting comment, Ron. He says, Towns isn't as good as he's made out to be. I was worried he would be a problem, and I was right. 7-foot, unathletic big that had his mindset on the perimeter. I just want to stop right there. If you had your mind set out that he'll be a problem, you know what that tells me, Ron? That this brother's looking for a problem. Just off the rip. Salute to my man, Felix. I see you, Felix. Salute to you. But it seems like you're looking for a problem. Then he says he's a 7-foot, unathletic big that had his mindset on the perimeter. Every center has their mindset on the perimeter. Sangoon is in the corner from the 3-point line trying to post up. What are we talking? Jokic is the point center.
That's a fact.
Everybody's on the perimeter, man. Like, what are we talking about? Vujicic, you see him. Vujicic's out there looking like Steve Kerr. like what are we saying, right? And unathletic, I wouldn't say Towns is the most unathletic center. I think if you look at some of these other centers like a Jokic and these guys, I mean, I wouldn't say they're more athletic than him. So what are we talking about? It just sounds, once again, it sounds like bias. I'm not sure if you want to chime in. If you want to chime in at any point,
well,
you can.
You know what? Towns is a little weird because of the fact that I think, is he a quick moving center? No. Is he the slowest moving center? No. He's in somewhere in between there. He has moments where he revs up and turns it up, right? When he has to drive. Some days are better than others. And also, we haven't really seen him. We can't really say too much about it. We don't, because he's been playing with a quad injury. So how much of Towns at 100% are you seeing to begin with? But I will say, athleticism wise, maybe he's not the most athletic person in the league at his position or even at a power forward position, but what he is very agile. Like, Karl Anthony Towns is one of the most agile bigs in the league. Like his ambidextrous ways when he does his layups, going up and under the different things. It's powerful because he's such a big guy doing it, but sometimes
Right.
he does stuff and you're like, "Ooh, that was sweet." Like, look like a
Mm-hmm.
point guard doing that, you know what I mean? He's
Yep.
very agile, so that's
Yep.
what
And
helps
he
him.
has handles.
Yeah,
And he has handles as a big guy. So when he hits you with the little in and out, is because it's elusive.
right,
You
right.
know, it's not just because, oh yeah, he's just, lucky. No,
Mhm.
I mean, it's hard to guard. When he does a little in and out if you a 7-footer and he hits you with the little in and out cross or that fake, cross, the in and out, and he just drives with the same hand towards that direction, no 7-footer
Mhm.
stopping that.
Yeah.
That is very, very hard to guard, right? So, but here's where the problem comes. He says the team has chemistry and the locker room was drama free until Towns walked in. What do you say to that?
I think that's I mean, I think it's wrong for us to look at a certain couple of moments and think because of those moments, we know what's going on in that locker room. I think
Thank you.
wrong for us to try to speculate as to what is happening in that locker room when there is so many things that could be wrong, like false
Right.
positives. We don't know. And then we also see outside of all of that, we see how they talk about each other when they're not playing basketball. We see if
Bingo.
how Towns talks about Brunson or how Towns talks about other players on the court.
That's a
Like,
fact.
how can you say that there's dysfunction, there's issues in the locker room, and that he is affecting the chemistry in a negative way when all they do is big each other up? You can't the thing is, you can't look at this is what I was saying on Saturday's show because we had a lot of Knick fans that were jumping out the window. I was like, you can't look at negative um no, I'm sorry. You can't look at a loss and manufacture something negative because of the loss. Oh, well, they
There
lost,
you go.
so this is what's going on. No, no. Bottom line is we lost the game because we didn't play good defense. We had a phenomenal offensive game. So there was a positive in it. We had a poor defensive game because some people were saying, well, we didn't give effort. No, they gave effort. It was
Right.
poor defense. It's not like they weren't
Yeah. Poor
hustling. It was
defense. Yeah.
bad defense, right? So there was stuff like that happening, and other people were talking about other things that I was like, no, I don't think that's the case. I think we're
Mm.
trying to find something negative. No. Oh,
Right. And
Brunson doesn't like Cat. Cat's not getting the ball because no, no. We're going through moments where we're dealing with adversity and we don't look good. We are in the middle of learning a new system on the fly, and the guys are thinking out there. They're thinking,
right.
they're trying to read and react, and they're having problems doing it. The part of the reason why they're having problems doing it is they're not knocking down their shots. When you start knocking down your shots, things just start to
It's easy.
it starts to happen
It
for you.
becomes
Yeah,
easy.
yeah,
Yeah, 100%. Now
right.
you're defending better, you're jumping, everything is better.
There
Yeah.
you
So
go. There
yeah,
you
if you hit it,
go.
I'm not even gonna respond. Your response was perfect. He said if he wasn't so selfish and immature, the Knicks would be a sure fit for the finals this year.
That's rough, man.
Now we have to deal with him, and I hope we trade him away. He isn't
Sheesh.
Ewing or any other solid center. He isn't Dirk or KD or any of the other 7-foot perimeter juggernaut. First off, he's the best big man shoot. He's the best shooting big man of all times. There's no debate. You could try to debate it if you want. You're gonna lose. So of course he's none of those guys. He's the best big man shooter of all times. Let's just start there. Secondly, I mean, also another reason why I wouldn't put him on those guys' level. I think all of those guys are the number one option. I think Towns, while he's a great player, he's good at the number 2 spot.
Mhm.
Those guys are all number 1 guys. So we don't need him to be those guys. We just need him to be the best Towns he could be. But the selfish comment, he went to Kentucky. They played in a platoon system. Everybody played half of the minutes they would have got if they would have went to another school. Towns says, I don't care about stats. I want to win. He said that coming to the Knicks. He said that when he was in college. He doesn't care about that stuff. That's another reason why I like him at the number 2 spot, because he's not an ego guy. None of these guys, a lot of these guys are not ego guys, including Captain. These guys are team first guys. They don't care. They just want to win. Josh Hart just want to win. As long as they win, they happy. Is when you lose, that's when everything becomes a lot more difficult.
Yep.
But Towns is selfish. That's the most ridiculous thing I ever heard. He was the number 1 option in Minnesota. Ant-Man came, number 2, no problem. He didn't have issue. He was upset when they traded him to the Knicks. I mean, of course, he said, "Oh, I'm going to the Knicks." Okay, yeah, but he was upset. He wanted to be there. He didn't ask out. I mean, what's this guy talking about? I'm not sure if you want to chime in on that before we
No,
move
I
on,
just
but
the
yeah, it's
only thing I
just
want to say to him and to other Nick fans that think the way that he's thinking is don't look for smoke where there is none. Just
right,
it what you're thinking right now is not the case. There's other reasons why the Knicks are struggling. Maybe you need to just take a look at more of the game tape, take a look at the games over and, more than once and just really see what's happening and understand that you are dealing with a team. And this is like the simplest way I can put it because everything else, there might be other little issues that can, affect how the team is playing. But the bottom line is this New York Knicks basketball team has had the same coach and the same system for 5 years. You bringing in a brand new coach who has a standard off season, but even in the standard off season, it was a month of training camp. And then right away within that month, 3 weeks later, you had 5 preseason games and you had to travel to Dubai, whatever, Abu Dhabi. So you had all of
right.
this going on, but you can't reinvent the wheel. It has to start slowly. The coach just can't say, I need you to forget everything Tibbs taught you, and this is what I want you to do. He's got to incorporate it all, and these guys have to learn it
Exactly.
and get comfortable doing it. You think it's easy to drop 5 years of basketball and start something that's different from what you've been doing? No, it's not. You want it to. It's been 6 games. Like it takes a little bit of time. Is all I'm trying to say. That's
That's
it.
all we saying. That's all we saying. And then also, Towns was the second best center. First off, Towns was the best center we seen since June. All right, let's just keep it there. Last year, the numbers he put up was phenomenal.
Mhm.
So for you to say that after seeing what he did, he was an All NBA teamer, All Star starter. When's the last time we had an All Star starter? I mean, you have to go back to Melo. Bottom line is, he was amongst those guys, and in terms of what he was able to do that year, All NBA starting All Star. So yeah. Now, before we get to Word on the Street, I do have to take the time to introduce you to the channel membership. First off, I want to give a big time salute to all the channel members that rock with me now. I do appreciate all of you guys. Now, you should consider joining this YouTube channel because it comes with a lot of cool perks. The first thing you're going to get is access to the Knicks Tape Madness Discord server, which is a private members only server where you can extend the conversation with me. If you're feeling the content and you want to talk some more, look no further than getting inside of that Knicks Tape Madness Discord server. We talk about the Knicks 24/7. Not only that, we talk about all other sports, and we talk about the Jets, the Giants, the Yankees. Listen, it is a fully functioning 24/7 Discord where you can go in and express yourself on a wide range of topics. Next, we have, of course, every member on YouTube gets the loyalty members and badges. It's the best way I can describe, you know, or is the best way I can tell who you are. Anytime you comment on shows or you comment in the comments of past videos or polls or things of that nature, I will be able to respond right away because the gold, the green, the blue, the red, all of those stars stand out and all of the stars are the same to me. Of course, you get access to members only live chats anytime I do a 10 keys and I'm focused on the content and you want to also contribute. This is the best way to be a part of the show when I have it locked off exclusively for members only. I have a lot of members only content from the Unfiltered Thought to the Objective Fan Hoopses, which is me recording when I hoop. Uh, Plus, I do members only lives. Right now, we have the Fantasy League, the Knicks Tape Madness Cup, which is going down right now. And you don't want to miss out on more opportunities to be a part of things on the channel, especially for members. So all you have to do is click that join button and you will get access to these perks. Not to mention a discount on the merch and the discount on the 82 Nights of Basketball Fan Companion, Stat Tracker, and Journal. Not even to mention that. So it only makes sense. Why don't you go ahead, hit that join button, especially if you're a subscriber. I look forward to seeing you in the members only section. And then we'll end on this, Ron. I know, salute to y'all if y'all watching up to this point or you're listening up to this point. This week inside the Knicks for Knicks fans in their hurry. We're trying to go fast, but we enjoy talking about this stuff, and there's a lot of great topics. And there's certain things I have to talk about. So I'm very meticulous on. Yeah, we got to touch on these points, but we'll end on word on the street. So what we'll do, Ron, is we'll just look at some of the polls we did for the week, and we'll just give a yay or nay. And then the purpose of this word on the street is, if you've listening for the first time, is for us to get an idea of what's going on with Knicks fans at this point in time, right? So, so I'll start with the first poll. The Knicks faced a tough loss against the Miami Heat last night. What was the biggest factor in the defeat? So we got too many three balls, not enough touches for Bridges, or Brunson dribble. what would you say, Ron?
Ooh. Oof. Well, I'm gonna say, all right, because
or you could say other. You could say other as well.
No, because two of those things can be right at the same time. I do think that maybe Bridges should have had more touches, but bottom line to me is I think the Knicks are still trying to figure out how to fit the benchmark of Mike Brown's system, and they were still struggling to get there. So I think it's too many threes. Because one of the things I was talking about was the fact that they needed to get inside more and get some quality twos. They were, the points in the paint were not good. So, I'm going to go with, too many threes.
And 66% of the 69% of the 322 votes agree with you. They say that too many three balls. 9% said not enough touches for Bridges, and 7% say Brunson dribble. I thought it'd be more to say that. And 15% said other. We'll move on. Given the numerous amount of injuries affecting the Knicks front court, this was before the news of Mitch returning and all of that. Should they consider re-signing Precious Achiuwa? What say you, Ron?
Well, unfortunately, I just don't think there's a spot for Precious at the moment.
Yes,
I think and I think he'll be fine. Right at the moment, it doesn't look that great, but I think in time, Yabusele will be fine, and I think we will stop. People who may have brought up Precious will stop thinking about Precious. But if for whatever reason, the next 10 to 15 games, Yabusele just continues to look lost and doesn't look like he's giving us anything of what we thought he would give us, I would not be opposed to picking up the phone. Just say it. Just say
but right now it's a no.
No, right now it's a no. It's too soon, too early. It's not fair to a guy like Yabusele, who might be dealing with something on his own coming into camp, a little heavy. But he's got to learn. He's learning a new system and new players too. So got to give Yabusele a little time to adjust.
Yeah, I think it's more of the latter than the premier on that one. But 216 votes, 66% say yes, and then 34% say no. But Ron, I think that a lot of that is the moment. Losing, not having, Mitch wasn't there.
Right.
Yeah. So the Knicks lost their second consecutive game on the road, this time against Milwaukee. What was the biggest factor in this loss? So we got too many threes, Cat missing in action, and Giannis was unstoppable. Cat played in the game, but he didn't play well. Which one of the three would you say for the Milwaukee Bucks?
Well, I know that once again, it goes back to too many threes and us not understanding how to run the system properly. But I know the Knicks fans at that time are going to say it's Cat's fault. So,
oh, yes. 73% of the 314 votes, Cat missing in action. And 13% said too many threes, while 10% said Giannis was unstoppable.
Right.
I thought Giannis definitely was unstoppable, and
no, he was.
Brunson fought. Brunson. I love Brunson. Salute to Brunson. That dude he needs to be All NBA first team, and if the Knicks play well, I think he'll get there this year because you got Luka, SGA, and then you got Jokic and Giannis.
Right.
Maybe Wemby might be the competition, but I think at that point it'll go by wins. Like if the Spurs are top three. Yeah, he might be MVP. But if the Spurs fall off and they're 6, 7, I don't think they'll. I think they'll give it to Brunson over that. I think they will look at what Brunson's doing in New York because that's what happened with Donovan Mitchell last year. I think that will be enough. And then also too is no guarantees that those guys will play 65 games. That's a whole nother topic,
That's true too.
right? So we got to see how this pan out. It sounds great, early in the year, but we'll see what happens.
You got to qualify.
And you got to qualify in the upcoming home series against the Bulls. How do you think it would fare? I skip this because we know we split the games. Yeah, we don't want to cheat. But by the way, I got to give a big time salute to Captain. He was the Nick of the Week last week. I didn't get a chance to add it to the pod, but he averaged 30 points, 5.7 assists, and he shot 46% from the field. He definitely was the Nick of the Week. And the Jalen Brunson rules are in effect. So that means that he can't win it twice because, we know he's the best. So he might win it every week.
Right.
So in order to make it fair, he can only win it 1 week at a time.
Right,
and also the Nick of the Nights is, he can't. Yeah, he can't. And so, so then I'll ask you, I know what my pick is tonight for the game against the Bulls. Who was the Nick of the Week? The Nick of the Night?
The Nick of the Night in tonight's Cat. I think.
You give the Cat? Okay.
I think it was Cat.
Okay, that's fair. No, I mean, honestly, you can't go wrong between him. Well, Brunson's always a choice, but OG, I'm going with Hart just off of the hustle.
Yeah. No, I mean,
yeah. That's the only reason. Realistically, it probably would be Towns or one of the other guys, but I just love the way he played the night. Defying the odds and doing his thing. So yeah, I think I would go that direction, but it's cool.
Yeah,
you know what I forgot to do?
I think I
forgot to do that poll.
Yeah, no, I was gonna say I think it's the 2015 and 5, and if knowing how if he's dealing with that quad injury, to me this is phenomenal.
Yeah. I think the quad might be a little. I think there's something that we don't know about that.
It may not be as bad as we think.
Yeah, because he said grade 2. Do you know, first of all, a grade 2, you're out 8 weeks, 6 to 8 weeks. There's no negotiation. I don't think the Knicks, we got the best.
Okay, it might be incorrect in his grade or what he
he
told. It's probably a grade 1.
Bingo. Probably a grade 1, right, bingo. Or something else entirely. I mean, this would be the last one. Despite losing the first NBA Cup game, can the Knicks still reach the knockout stage of the tournament? Can we get a chance to go to Vegas? What say you? Yes or no?
I mean, yes, because I as long as they continue to improve and adopt the principles of the defense and the offense, they can just win games. And if they win games, they'll have a chance. I don't care about it, but yes, they can.
I know. It's just, hey man, I just needed something to write in the poll,
I mean,
man. But that's it for
going to Vegas, though. I think honestly, the whole thing is not about winning the cup. It's about that extra bump of money that these young players and the other guys that are on the fringe get, because I just think it's such a benefit to them, and it allows them to have something to play for. Once they can start, that first game is not a big deal, but once they can start tasting it, like, oh, hey, we're getting close. You
got to go hard. Yeah, and I think that's what makes it so entertaining, the fact that they are going hard.
Right.
I think they need to incorporate that into the All-Star game, but that's a whole topic, man. First off, I got to thank my man, Ron, SKF Army, still Knicks fans in the house, man. I do appreciate you for co-hosting this. We will be doing more of these collabs together. We got a date for when I'm coming back on Still Knicks Fan Weekly, so I'm looking forward to that. And any final thoughts you would like to share with the people?
Just that, this is going to be, a trying time for our patience as Knicks fans. I'm going to say this for a while because I know we're going to need it. The bottom line is we just have to be patient as a fan base. It's going to take a little bit of time. We're going to be frustrated at times. But there's also going to be some moments of happiness, and we're going to enjoy it. But we just can't get too high or too low, especially in this first month of the season. First month of the season, I like to call it the pretender time. Second month, third month is when the contenders show up. So this first month, anything goes. Anything can and will happen in the first month of the season. So don't stress it too much right now.
Facts, man. I agree, man. Once again, thanks, Ron, for having us, man. That's all we got for you today. Hopefully we get you through your work day. And, this week inside the Knicks for Knicks fans in the hurry. Listen, that's all I got for you. And until next time, as always, let's go Knicks.